Every system depends on routine. Factories run because people repeat the same actions every day. The same paths, the same decisions, the same responses to small problems. During World War II, Britain discovered something disturbing. If you can predict routine, you can weaponize it. This story doesn't begin with a battlefield. It begins in a factory. A worker notices something on the floor. It's unpleasant, but ordinary. Something he's seen before. There's no alarm, no urgency, no reason to think twice. He does what he's always done. And that moment, that automatic, unthinking response, is exactly what Britain was counting on. Because the most dangerous weapons are not the ones people fear. They are the ones people ignore. This is the story of how Britain designed a weapon that didn't rely on force, didn't rely on sound, and didn't even rely on being used. A weapon that lived entirely inside habit. This is the story of exploding rats, and how doubt itself became a tool of war. By the early 1940s, Britain was fighting a war on two levels. One was visible: armies, aircraft, naval battles. The other was invisible: supply lines, factories, morale, routine. The Second War was harder to fight. Factories didn't look like battlefields. Workers didn't wear uniforms. Sabotage had to be subtle. Britain's Special Operations Executive, the SOE, was created for this invisible war. Their mission was simple to describe and difficult to execute: disrupt the enemy from the inside. Early sabotage relied on direct action. Damaged equipment, interrupted transport, hidden explosives. But these methods had limitations. They were risky. They were detectable. And once discovered, defenses adapted. The SOE needed something different. Something that didn't look like sabotage at all. Something that relied not on force, but on routine. Human systems depend on predictability. Factories run on repetition. Workers follow habits developed over years. Problems are solved quickly, automatically, without reflection. This efficiency is a strength. It is also a vulnerability. The SOE began to ask an unusual question. What if sabotage could hide inside routine? The solution came from an unlikely source: rats. In industrial environments, rats were common. They were nuisances, not threats. When discovered, the response was instinctive and unthinking. Remove the rat, dispose of it, return to work. The SOE realized something remarkable: that instinct could be predicted, and prediction could be exploited. Thus, the idea of exploding rats was born. The design was deceptively simple. Dead rats were prepared with a concealed charge, carefully hidden, so that they appeared ordinary at a glance. The plan was not spectacle, it was expectation. If such an object were discovered near a furnace or boiler, the most natural response would be disposal, often by fire. No training required. No instruction given. No suspicion raised. The weapon relied entirely on normal behavior. History often measures weapons by what they destroy. But exploding rats worked differently. In fact, Their greatest success came before they were ever used. A shipment was intercepted. The enemy discovered the idea, and in that moment, the weapon achieved its true purpose. Because now, the damage didn't need to occur. Every rat became suspicious. Every routine slowed. Every disposal required hesitation. Factories began inspecting the ordinary. Time was lost. Confidence eroded. Trust in routine disappeared. The battlefield shifted from machinery to the human mind. Exploding rats represented a new form of warfare. Not destruction, but disruption. Not chaos, but doubt. The enemy was forced to question their environment. And questioning is expensive. It costs time. It costs efficiency. It costs morale. The SOE had learned that the most effective way to disrupt a system was to make it second-guess itself. Exploding rats were never mass-deployed. They didn't need to be. Their legacy wasn't physical, it was conceptual. They demonstrated that warfare could operate on psychology alone. That fear doesn't require violence. That disruption doesn't require destruction. That a weapon doesn't even need to function to succeed. Sometimes the idea is enough. War is often remembered for its noise, but history is shaped just as often by silence, by hesitation, by uncertainty, by the moment someone pauses and asks, "Is this safe?" Exploding rats proved that the most powerful weapons don't always explode. Sometimes they simply change how people think. This is Hidden Weapons of History, where the most effective tools of war were designed not to destroy the enemy, but to make them doubt the world around them. If this story surprised you, it's because history often hides its most unsettling ideas. Subscribe to Hidden Weapons of History for more documentaries about the tools that reshaped war without ever needing to be seen. More stories are waiting, and many of them are stranger than fiction.